In this video, I'm going to be rating and improving you guys' teams here in NBA 2K23 Myteam. And as usual, if you want to be featured in the next video, make sure to follow me on Twitter at GrimFateYT and look out for my next rating and improving teams tweet, which will be in the next couple of days. So make sure to follow me on Twitter at GrimFateYT and turn on notifications to be featured in the next video. But let's get straight into this. And before we get into it though, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Check and make sure that you are subbed up and like this video. And let's get straight into the first team. The first team is going to be by Angel Gant here. He has 30,000 MT left over. He's got Endgame Curry, Anthony Black, Cam Whitmore, Vlade Divac, and Wembanyama. Definitely a lot of improvements that need to be made on this team. First things first is that you should move Wembanyama to the power forward. And at the center spot, you can pick up the Ralph Sampson. He was free yesterday, so now his price is super cheap. I think he's around 10K MT. And that's going to be a 7-4 center that you can run right there. And then run Wembanyama at the 4, and that would be a beautiful big man combo right there. And then in terms of your backcourt and your forwards and stuff, you need a lot of improvements here. You definitely need to just stack up some MT. I would suggest going ahead. Curry is a good end game, and if you're good with him, he's fine. But for a backup point guard, look to get somebody like Jokic or possibly Luka, something like that. And then at your shooting guard, look for like a T-Mac. And at your 3, maybe get like a Bobo or a Tim Thomas. But you just need to focus on stacking up your MT more than anything. The second team here is going to be by Arlin67. He's got out-of-position Jokic, KD endgame, Scottie Pippen, Joel Embiid, and Victor Wembanyama. That is a pretty good starting 5, and then the bench looks very good as well with Lamar Odom, T-Mac, Danny Granger, Ben Wallace, and Yao. Super, super good team here. I would say the main thing that needs to be fixed is that you should swap Danny Granger and Scottie Pippen spots. I definitely think the Danny Granger card is much better than Scottie Pippen in terms of dribble moves, in terms of jump shot, everything. I think the Granger is much better than the Pippen. And then honestly, I would just completely get rid of Pippen. And for your bench, get somebody like the interdimensional Tim Thomas for only about 5,000 MT, and that could be a solid small forward off your bench instead of Pippen. That Pippen card is not good. It's very overrated. Doesn't have good dribble moves. Doesn't have a good jump shot. Other than that, though, the rest of the team looks good. You have good height. You have multiple endgame cards. You have a lot of good scorers. Lamar is very great off the bench. And those would be the main things I would say to change about your squad. And let's move into the next team here. It's going to be by IDK, or I Am Lucky, I think. He says he has 60,000 MT. Let's see what he has got here for his lineup. So, as you can see, I'm going to have to zoom in here. He has Hero Ben, which is pretty outdated at this point in the year. I'm going to be honest with you. I definitely think you should pick up the out-of-position Jokic card. It's just going to be the same thing as the Ben, same height, but a much better jump shot and much better animations all around. I will say the Ben is definitely better defensively, but the Jokic is better all around in my opinion. So I would get Jokic. He's very cheap. He's like 10,000 MT. And then you got Paul George. That's great. Bobo, Shaq, and then Yao Ming. I would definitely look to get rid of that Shaq card. At the power forward spot, you could be looking at a ton of different options. I would honestly go with Kristaps Porzingis instead at the power forward, just because you want to be able to stretch the floor, and he's going to be 7'3", which is much taller than Shaq at that position. And I think Porzingis is a nice cheap option right there. Then you've got Curry, Ilgauskas, Tatum, Bill Walton, and Jokic. Main thing off the bench would be to get a taller center off the bench. Ralph Sampson, again, was free yesterday, so his price dropped dramatically. He's now only about 10,000 MT, so that's a perfect option to get off your bench for the center, and everything else looks pretty good. So let's move into the next team. Next team here is going to be by Dominic. He has 88,000 MT, and he says he's looking to replace Kenyon Martin. Definitely need to get rid of that Kenyon Martin. Starting lineup, though, looks really, really good. Great height, great defense, great scoring. I would not change anything about that starting lineup. It is very good. Amen Thompson is very underrated off the bench. He's very good. T-Mac, Mark Eaton, a lot of great players here, and you really nailed it. The main thing I would say is to get rid of that Kenyon Martin. Just not the best option there at the small forward off the bench. It looks like you already do have interdimensional Bobo in your starting lineup. So for your small forward off the bench, I would look to possibly pick up either Tim Thomas, who's going to be 6'10", but if you're looking for a more, who's really good on offense, but if you're looking for more defensive and like still good on offense, but more defensively based and like height-wise, then I would definitely pick up Lauri Markkanen. He's very cheap, 7 feet tall. And he's going to be great on defense, but his animations are not as good as Tim Thomas. I would pick up one of those two off your bench, and you should be straight. 285,000 MT here for Hector. And he's going to be running, yeah, there's definitely a lot of things you can do here. It looks like you haven't really used much of your MT. The Verajao is good. The Curry, I would rather come off your bench. I'd look to pick up somebody like Jokic at the point guard again. The shooting guard, Rudy Gay, is not bad, but I would probably move him to the bench and get someone like either Tim Thomas or T-Mac for your starting shooting guard. And then at the center spot, you're just too small, and I would look to get somebody like a Yao Ming at the center. And then Scottie Pippen, again, I would try to move him to there's a lot of things you could do with this team. A lot of improvements you can make. When you have a lot of MT, though, you can easily make a God squad with the amount of MT that you have at this point in the year. And I would just tell you to improve really all positions. Get taller, get more guys that can defend and have great dribble moves. Just get more meta cards. This team's not very meta. But other than that, yeah, that's what I would say for you to do with that squad. 3,000 MT for Caden here. He's going to have LaMelo, Jerry, Bobo, Porzingis, and Patrick Ewing. First things first, definitely need to get rid of that Patrick Ewing. You only have 3,000 MT, so I would save up and get Ralph Sampson. He's only going to be about 10, maybe 15K at most, but I think he's around 10K, and that's going to be a 7-4 center for you right there. Bobo is great. Kristaps is great. LaMelo is great. I would get rid of Jerry Stackhouse, and at the shooting guard, look to get somebody like Radiant T-Mac. That's going to be another 10K. All in all, you could pick up those two improvements for only 20K, and your team will be 10 times better. And then the bench, yeah, definitely just need to stack some MT up for the bench, though. And other than that, you're looking pretty solid. Sykins right here, my boy Sykins. He sends in his team right here. He's going to have LaMelo, T-Mac, Tim Thomas, Ben Wallace, and Hakeem. Again, get taller at the center spot. I see that you have 100,000 MT. I would get Dark Matter Yao Ming for your center. And then Ben Wallace, I'm not sure how good he is. I guess if he is good, you can keep him there. Rest of the starting lineup, though, is good. Tim Thomas, T-Mac, and LaMelo. Then off the bench, Lance is horrible for your backup point. I would definitely look to pick up somebody like out of position Jokic. I know I keep saying it, but he's such a good value card for either your bench or send LaMelo to the bench, whatever you think will work. And then I see you've got that Jokic, which could be decent for a power forward. Definitely just need a lot of improvements off the bench. Maybe get another tall center for the bench as well, like a Ralph Sampson, and you'll be fine. Then we've got this team right here by Flying Ragin. Let's see what he has got right here. He's got D-Rose, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Steven Adams. So it looks like you just don't know too much about the meta of the game. You can't be running a 6'3 shooting guard. He's just going to be too small, and he's going to get bullied by anybody at that height. People are just going to shoot over him. The main thing I would say is move Steph Curry to the starting lineup and bring D-Rose to the bench. Then at the shooting guard, I'd save up for T-Mac, only about 10,000 MT. That Kevin Durant and the Giannis, I would try to just sell the Kevin Durant, the Giannis. The Steven Adams definitely needs to move. You just need to honestly snipe a lot, get your MT up. Once you're at like 50K MT, you'll be able to improve your entire lineup. But for right now, with only 6K, there's not much you can do other than just grind MT and try to sell some of these cards that really just aren't going to fit on the team. For the next squad here, it's going to be by Kyle Kuzma fan. He's about to get Embiid, so we'll assume that's the case. Lamar, Asar Thompson, Scottie Pippen. Again, a lot of people run this Scottie Pippen. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if you like it, you can keep him there. If not, I would try to improve it by getting somebody like Interdimensional Bobo or something of that nature. Kristaps, and then Yao Ming, and then he's going to be getting Embiid as well, and the bench looks pretty good too. I would say improve the small forward position. Starting and bench need to be improved a lot. I would look to get somebody like, again, Interdimensional Bobo and possibly even Interdimensional Tim Thomas as well. Those would be two good options at the small forward for the bench and the starting lineup. Next team is going to be by James here. He's at 100,000 MT. You could do that. You could definitely do that if you wanted to. You could switch the Dark Matter for the Opal, but it's up to you, man. Other than that, though, Jokic, T-Mac, Bobo, Taco, Yao, that is an elite starting lineup. Nothing wrong with it at all. Then you've got Curry, Distinger, KG, Dikembe, and Artis Gilmore. This is a really, really well-rounded team all around. A lot of good height, everything in that nature. So, honestly, I don't think there's much you really need to do with this squad. Obviously, the obvious thing would be to just stack up MT and try to get some end games. But other than that, this is a really good team for what you can work with here. It has a lot of great height and scoring, so I really like this team. Main thing I would say is just stack up some MT, look to get some invincibles, some end games. Other than that, the team is really good. BMC here is going to go ahead and have this squad with 125,000 MT. He's going to have Clay, Karolinko, Zion, Mobley, and Yao Ming. Zion is too short. Bring him off the bench for sure. Get somebody like Bobo or Tim Thomas for the starting small forward. That Klay Thompson might be solid. I'm not sure. The Karolinko is not bad. The Yao Ming is good at the center. The Mobley is very good at the power forward. Then you've got Kristaps off your bench for the center. It's time to let go of that level 40 Hakeem. He doesn't run anymore on any squad, in my opinion. So, again, I'd look to get somebody like Ralph Sampson, 7'4" center, good animations, only going to be about 10,000 MT. Very good option right there. Isaac is solid, Rudy Gay is solid, and then Ben Simmons is solid as well. I would look to get out of position Jokic and either start him over Clay or bring him off the bench instead of Ben. And those would be the things I would do for your squad. Next team is going to be by Fiki Riki here. He's got Jokic, Tatum, Durant, Wemby, and David Robinson. A phenomenal starting lineup. The only thing I would say is to switch D-Rob and Wembanyama. Just because Wemby is taller than D-Rob, I would switch their positions so that Wemby can be guarding the taller center. And then for the bench here, LaMelo, Curry, T-Mac, Porzingis, and Yao. You got a great team all around. Main thing I would say is to go ahead and move that T-Mac to the shooting guard off the bench, and then bring in Lauri Markkanen as your small forward off the bench, and bring Curry to the end part of the lineup. Other than that, there's not a lot of improvements in terms of getting new players. I think that team is really good. You just need to switch some players around. Then this team right here has gotten Magic Johnson, Paul George, Wemby, Kareem, and Yao. Absolutely elite starting lineup. Nothing I could say there. Clay, Ilgauskas, Larry Bird, Porzingis, and Wilt Chamberlain. So far, you've got the best team of today's video. iSticks or Licksticks 2K, whatever that is. You've got the best team of today's video so far. Nothing I would say to improve that. 300K in auctions by Jordan here. He's got Hero Jokic, Kevin Durant, Wembanyama, Manu, and Yao. Then off the bench, he's got Ben Simmons, Tim Thomas, Bobo, Joel Embiid, and Kristaps Porzingis. This is an absolutely elite team. Might be better than the last team. This team and the team before that I just showed are definitely the two best teams of this video. There's not much you can really do to improve this team. I mean, you're looking elite all around. I don't know what I could possibly say. Except maybe just try to get some more end games for the bench. But, I mean, you've got an elite team here. Not too much to go ahead and say about that. 50K MT, you've got Jokic, Granger, Bobo, Kristaps, and Yao. That starting lineup is elite. Very, very good starting lineup. Then you've got Scotty Barnes, T-Mac, Lauri Markkanen, Artis Gilmore, and Mark Eaton. You've got a very good team. You said you had 50,000 MT. I would look to go ahead. I would probably... Oh my gosh, bro, this team is so... You guys have a lot of good teams. There's not much you can do to improve this team. I mean, the bigs in the starting lineup and the bench are all good. I would just say save up for end games. Again, I would say save up for some end game cards. But this is a team that can compete against really any squad in the game. You've got height, you've got scoring, you've got everything. I would say save up for some end games. Maybe, yeah, that's what I would say to do. You've got a really good team here. Okay, bro. 774,000 MT, and this is your squad. I would say to get a gold point guard to replace Giannis. That would be my move here. Like, what am I supposed to say to improve this team, bro? There is no way to improve this team. You've got the best team of today's video. You have end games in every position, bro. Oh yeah, man, you might need to touch some grass, my brother. Let's move into the next team. Kirk Ridge here, 60,000 MT. Just sold Blake Griffin. You've got LaMelo, KD, Paolo, Kristaps, and Yao Ming. I personally think that out-of-position Jokic is better than the LaMelo at point guard, so that's what I would do. Then off the bench, you can bring that LaMelo in and get rid of Josh Giddey, T-Mac, Zion. It's outdated. It's outdated. I know he was a 40, but he's too short. I would look to get somebody like a Bobo off the bench. Verjao is good, and then your backup center, Ralph Sampson, would be much better. So those are improvements I would make to your team. JC here, you've got Curry, LeBron, Bobo, Wemby, and Mark Eaton. A very good starting lineup, honestly. And then I would just personally get somebody like, again, Jokic or Ben Simmons to start at the point guard and then bring Curry off the bench. Then you've got Porzingis. You got a good bench as well. You got a solid squad, man. You're getting KD here. You need a power forward. I would go ahead and pick up, what's his name? I would pick up Kristaps Porzingis for your power forward. And the bench looks pretty good. I like the team a lot here. And yeah, that would be good to sell the Jokic for the other version. Here we go here, 25,000 MT, LaMelo, KD, Blake Griffin. I personally would definitely bring in Paolo instead of Blake Griffin. And then off the bench, get rid of that Josh Giddey and bring in somebody like Jokic or Luka or Ben Simmons. Let's see what else we have here too. We've got Jam, got Yao for 39K. Very good starting lineup. Bench looks really good. Main thing I would say is to get rid of Sabonis for somebody like possibly the next Wembanyama. If you have more MT, you can try to pick him up. And the rest of the team looks very good here. It looks like there's not a lot of scoring off the bench besides Cade, though. KG and Bill Russell aren't going to get you buckets, so you could possibly pick up Tim Thomas to replace one of those guys. 150,000 MT, you've got Ray Allen at the point. That's the main thing I would say to change. Bring him off the bench maybe and get somebody like Jokic. Then you've got T-Mac, Jason Tatum, Mutombo, and Artis Gilmore off the bench. Very good team. And let's see right here, 400,000 MT to work with. Yeah, your team is absolutely broken. I can't sit here and say there's anything I would improve. You got end games all around, tight, defense, everything. Your team is elite. 100,000 MT here for you, man. You've got a phenomenal starting lineup. Off the bench, I would look to get rid of Scottie Pippen for somebody like Radiant T-Mac. Kenyon Martin, I would get rid of him for Interdimensional Bobo. And then I would move Bill Russell to the backup power forward and get somebody like Mark Eaton for your backup center. Let's see here. So, yeah, definitely need to improve that shooting guard. I would get Radiant T-Mac. Again, I say this so many times. He's by far the best budget card in the game. Only 10,000 MT for a card that was elite the entire year and still is elite. So, I'd look to get somebody like Radiant T-Mac or Invincible T-Mac if you can afford that. And then a lot of improvements need to be made off the bench in terms of getting rid of that Larry Hughes and the Ray Allen as well, and the Kenyon Martin. But the Ben and the Mobley look pretty solid. Next team here is going to be by McLovin. He's gotten Jokic, KD, Bobo, Embiid, and Dikembe. I would move Dikembe to the bench. Get rid of Ben Wallace completely and get Yao for your center. You got Cade, Distringer, Nedelicki, and Porzingis for the rest of them. All looking good. 90,000 MT here for Gremlin 2K. He's got LaMelo, T-Mac, Lauri Markkanen, Kristaps, and Mark Eaton. Very good starting lineup. Then you've got Luka, Tim Thomas, Isaac, Ewing, and Ralph. I'd try to get rid of Isaac for Bobo, and then bring Lauri Markkanen off the bench, and put Bobo in the starting lineup and have Lauri as your backup 3. Then for the backup 4, I would look to get somebody like, it's just somebody taller, maybe Sabonis, I don't know, somebody different there. And that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you want to be featured in the next video, make sure to go ahead and follow me on Twitter at GrimFateYT, and look out for my next tweet talking about grading new teams. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and go ahead and leave a comment letting me know if you were a part of the video. And I'm out of here, y'all. Peace out.